Hello and welcome to Box, the football talk show brought to you by Sportology TV. I'm Ali Drew and this is my co-host Ouney.
Guys, welcome to Box, episode number 3. Just want to have a little recap of episode number 2. We had Adam McCullough from the Stretford Paddock talking about everything to do with Manchester United. He spoke about De Gea, Maguire, Lindelof, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's run, Mason Greenwood and everything else. So definitely give that a watch if you haven't watched it already. We also had Johnny from Newcastle Fans TV talk about their season. Is that Saudi takeover ever going to happen? He gave us his thoughts, so definitely give that a watch. But Ali, today we've got some more special guests. Who have we got on?
We do. We have 2 special guests. First of all, starting with a familiar face, we have the very passionate Mr. DT from AFTV. DT, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm good.
DT, it's a pleasure having you back on. We spoke last time and Arsenal were going through a bit of a rough patch. I think we spoke after just the North London derby at that point.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal come out and they beat City, then they beat Liverpool. You know, they put out these fantastic results, then they lose to Aston Villa. Very much like Arsenal, isn't it?
Oh, that is Arsenal to a T. That we can perform like we did against Liverpool and then Manchester City, and then we just look an absolute mess against Aston Villa. But the Liverpool game, I don't think too many people have given us the credit we deserve for that, because they were saying that Liverpool are champions and, you know, they kind of had their foot off the gas, so to speak. But before the game, everyone was saying that they're going for the records points total so that they're going to be, you know, fully on it. At the moment we beat them, there's excuses coming out. And what I will say is that Liverpool played their strongest starting 11 bar Jordan Henderson, who was injured. And if anything, it was us that actually, you know, had players missing and were changing things around, because we had a bigger game that weekend coming up, which was Manchester City in the semi-final. And then we played that game and it was just one of the most unbelievable performances I've seen from us in years. Like, where on earth did that performance come from? I don't actually know. I still don't know. When I watched David Luiz's defending against Watford, for example, I sit there and think, how did he pull off that masterclass against Man City and the strike force and the players that they've got? But that's David Luiz to a T as well. Unbelievable one week, a clown the next. But listen, we've got an FA Cup final to look forward to, and make no mistakes about it, I'll be absolutely buzzing if we can beat Chelsea, and I'll be celebrating, I'll be grabbing people and hugging them and kissing them and all sorts, and all within guidelines, of course. Social distancing. I might have to give someone a kiss with a mask on or something, you know, just to make sure. But it won't mask over the season. I'm not dumb enough to, you know, let it paper over the cracks. It's been an absolutely dreadful season. It's our worst Premier League season. It's the first time we finished outside the top 6 in 25 years. And it's been dreadful. You can't say no more than that. But it's just an opportunity to, you know, finish off what has been that poor season with silverware. And, yeah, it's something that our neighbours down the road can't do. And apparently everything's sweetness and light down there.
Well, looking ahead to this weekend against Chelsea, what are the sort of hopes for Arsenal about getting, you know, a win in that match? What are the sort of realistic hopes for that?
Well, the thing is that Manchester City are a better team than Chelsea, first and foremost. Chelsea, just like Manchester City, have dangerous players. Olivier Giroud's hitting an unbelievable form at the moment. We're going to have to watch out for him. Pulisic as well. But the one area that they're weak, and I suppose you could say the weakness with Man City, was defensively. They can be got at. They will concede goals. And with the players that we've got in attack, we can cause anyone problems. You know, for me, we've arguably got one of the best strikers in world football in Aubameyang. His stats don't lie. And it really annoys me with some of the things that I hear about him and the disrespect he gets. If he was playing at Liverpool, for example, this season, the kind of things that people would be saying would be, you know, what he deserves about being world class. You look at Firmino, for example, at Liverpool. I don't think until was it the Chelsea game, last game of the season, where he actually scored at Anfield for the first time. But nobody remembers. Nobody talks about it. Nobody even mentions it. because Liverpool have just won the Champions League, they've won the Premier League. So those kind of things get masked over. But when you play for a team like Arsenal, who have struggled and have had the problems we've had, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter how good you are, you play for a team that's not good, so you're not good either. You know, and that really frustrates me because, you know, only 4 players in the whole of Europe have scored more than 20 goals a season for the last 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And one of them's Aubameyang. The others are Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't see Aguero, Kane, or any of them in there. So where's the disrespect come from? You know, 2 years running, he's had 2 full seasons in the Premier League and he scored 22 Premier League goals, 2 seasons running. He missed out on the Golden Boot for the 2nd year running by 1 goal. And he predominantly plays as a left winger and he's playing in a team that's struggling. Come on.
Going off that then, how important is it that you guys get him signed out? You need to sign him down. We know that all the contracts sort of coming to an end at some point soon. But just some stats there. He's a prolific goal scorer, one of Europe's best, one of the world's best when it comes to goal scoring. How important is it getting him tied down now?
Oh, massively. You ain't going to replace his goals. Where are you going to find, you know, over 20 goals a season for the kind of figures that you see players going for now? You know, Chelsea have just paid £50 million for Timo Werner.
Yeah.
Quality player, but he's not even proven in the Premier League. You don't know that he's going to adapt or whatever. You know he's a quality player, but they've had to, you know, spend £50 million. And that was only because of a release clause. Because if he didn't have that, then you were probably looking about 80, 90 million pounds they'd have had to pay for it. So where are you going to get those goals from for under 100 million? You're not. You simply ain't.
The question is, DT, then, what can Arsenal give him in the future? Because they finished, 8th this season.
Thanks for reminding me.
I know. I'm sorry, man. But, like, you know, he's one of Europe's best strikers. There's going to be a lot of teams out there who's going to be contacting his agent saying, we want him. You know, what sort of deal can you put in place? But what makes him stay at Arsenal?
The ambition is the most important thing. I know from people that are connected, you know, within the club and close to Aubameyang himself, it's down to the main ambition of the club and whether he sees that, you know, they really want to go places in the next few years. And he believes in the project. He believes in what Mikel Arteta's doing. His relationship with him is absolutely brilliant. Now it's down to the board to show that they back what the manager wants to bring in. You know, if they go to Aubameyang and say, look, sign the contract, this is what it's going to be, and this is our ambition, and we're going to, you know, bring in this player, that player, and they're who we're, you know, trying to tie into contracts with us now, then I believe that'll be enough for Aubameyang to say, yeah, you know what, I'm willing to be a part of this. Because the thing is with Aubameyang as well, and I've said this to people, he might be 31 years old, but he doesn't play like a 31-year-old.
No, he doesn't.
His history of injuries is phenomenal. He hardly gets injured. I can't actually think of him ever having a long-term injury or even being out for longer than a month. If he could stay at Arsenal for the next 3-4 years, he could chase down Thierry Henry's goal-scoring record, in my opinion, because he doesn't slow up. He's like Ian Wright. Ian Wright joined Arsenal at 28, 29.
Yeah.
And he ended up beating Cliff Bastin's record that stood for decades. And he was another one of those players that just didn't slow down until near the mid-30s or so. So Aubameyang, he's still got plenty in his tank. And the thing is as well is that some people might not see this as something that's important, but where Aubameyang plays for Gabon, for example, they're not the biggest nation in terms of, you know, international football, should we say. And yes, they do have the African Cup of Nations and, you know, tournaments like that, but they're not involved in, you know, summer World Cups and Euros, and you see English players or French players or whoever it may be, they finish a long Premier League season and then they go into a World Cup with their country or the Euros, and then they come back and they've then got to start a season again. And it's like they never have any rest, and then they start to burn out. He's never had any of that. Prolonged tournaments consistently, year after year. So he's had that advantage as well. And I just, watching him week in, week out, I don't see a 31-year-old playing football. And I think he's got way, way long left in his tank. And I'm even inclined to say that if we can't get him tied down before the start of the season, let him play out his final year. Because I think that letting him play and maybe showing him what we can do over the year, and going in the transfer market, buying players, and then ultimately trying to actually qualify for the Champions League again, could be enough at the end of the year to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to sign a contract now. Or he's going to move on, but we've got our money's worth out of him. And we've got back into Champions League football. And then I don't think anyone can buy. So I would actually take that risk.
Just going back to the FA Cup, DT. Looking at you guys in the last couple of years, you've won it 3 times since 2013. You've always had a good run when it comes to the final. Last time in 2017, when you won it last time, you played Chelsea. You guys were the underdogs. Chelsea were favourites at that time because they had won the league at that point. And again, you seem to outplay them. I know it was 2-1, but in regards to the game, I can remember watching it at the time. Arsenal sort of did well throughout the whole game. What is it with you guys and the FA Cup final? It seems like the mentality is there where you guys, once you're in the final, it seems to be yours.
I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that it's called the Emirates FA Cup, and maybe our sponsors tell them that they need to do certain things. So it's, there seems to be that little talk about how we've bought the cup because obviously Emirates sponsor us. But no, I don't know what it is. That final, it's identical to our pathway. We played Manchester City in the semi-final as well. And we beat them 2-1 in that game. And it actually went to extra time when we beat Man City. I remember going into the final against Chelsea, and the final game of the Premier League season, Laurent Koscielny got sent off and he was suspended for the final. They were going for the double. They had, walked the Premier League, to be quite honest with you. They were absolutely brilliant. We knew that we had to bring Per Mertesacker into the side, who hadn't played in, oh my word, God knows how long. And all you thought was, oh my God, Diego Costa, he's going to absolutely annihilate him. And between him and Rob Holding, they absolutely bullied him. And we just did not give Chelsea a sniff. When Chelsea equalised in that game with about 15 minutes to go, I remember sitting there and thinking, how on earth is this 1-1? How is it 1-1? The game should have been out of sight by half-time. And then before you could even, digest the equaliser, bang, Aaron Ramsey, 2-1. And we go and win the cup again. And I think it's the same thing. I'm seeing a lot of arrogant Chelsea fans. I'm seeing a lot of ones that seem to think that, they've already got their name on the cup. What I will say to Chelsea fans is, just be careful, because, there was Manchester United fans thinking that they were going to do the same thing in their semi-final against Chelsea, and it came back to bite them. I never really heard any Manchester City fans say anything, because I actually don't know any Man City fans. I didn't actually know any exist, but just don't take your position in the Premier League as a divine right that you're going to beat us. We're where we are for a reason. We deserve to be in the final. And, we've had possibly the hardest semi-final. I suppose the only other team you could say you wouldn't want to face if they were still in the competition is Liverpool. Apart from that, it's Manchester City. I look at the 2 games that we played Chelsea this season. Our first game against them was Mikel Arteta's first actual game. And for 80 minutes, we were all over Chelsea. And we were absolutely brilliant. And then it was a mistake by Leno, an uncharacteristic mistake by him. And then we tied in the last 5, and Tammy Abraham scored, and they beat us 2-1. And then a month later, we played them again. We went down to 10 men after like 20 minutes when David Luiz was David Luiz. And we ended up drawing the game 2-2. So we showed enough over those 2 performances to say that we can match Chelsea. All day long we can match Chelsea. And, like I said, we're going to have to watch Olivier Giroud. We're going to have to watch Pulisic. But at the same time, they're going to have to watch Aubameyang. They're going to have to watch Nicola Pepe. And we'll see what happens. May the best team win.
How big is it for you guys to win this in regards to getting transfers in? And it's not, I'm only saying that because you've not got Europe. There isn't much of a, I know it sounds a bit bad, but there isn't much of a selling point. If another team was in for a player, say Arsenal went for a player, top 16 were in for a player, is the FA Cup something that they win and there's something to point a finger at to say, listen, there's progression, hopefully there's progression coming into the next season? What's the selling point there?
Well, the selling point is that you win the FA Cup, we're in the Europa League. So, you know, I feel sorry for Wolves in a sense because they finished in the other Europa League place in 7th, and if we win the FA Cup, we take their place. We was actually hoping Tottenham would finish 7th because that would have just been hilarious, winning a trophy and then knocking them out of Europe as well. And we saw how much it meant to them by the way they celebrated. Yeah. Absolutely dreadful. But initially, a while ago, I've had this discussion with Robbie and stuff, and I said that I didn't want us to be in Europe because I felt that it could have been a hindrance to us next season, and maybe a year out of it would have actually gave us, you know, some breathing space and time to rebuild. But then I've heard as well that European football is really important for some of the players that we want to try and get in the door. And there are certain players that are saying, you know what, I don't mind not being in the Champions League for a year and I would go into the Europa League. But at a minimum, I want European football. Okay. I don't mind stepping into it if the ambition is to get back into the Champions League. But I want to step into that as a minimum. So it's really important. And, you know, what Mikel Arteta said the other week is something that I've always believed in anyway. Arsenal are still, despite our dip in form or whatever you might want to call it, people might use stronger words for it. I'll revert to my channel when I decide to talk like that. But we're still the 3rd biggest club in England. We're still 3rd most trophies won in England, behind Manchester United and Liverpool. We've got an unbelievable stadium. We've got, you know, the best city in the UK. I know some people will argue. Maybe you might argue. There might be a shout for Wales in there somewhere. But listen, London. Everyone loves London. It's the city life, and it's, as a player, shall I say, players love London. But we've got a very young, hungry, progressive manager. If you can sign the likes of Aubameyang, the fact that we've tied down the likes of Martinelli and Saka, and the promising talent that we've got coming through, it is appealing. Arsenal's still a big, appealing club to any player. And if they can look at that as the bigger picture and see that they want to get on board to, you know, be a part of the journey, then so be it. You know, we're a much bigger proposition than, you know, most of the clubs in the Premier League. You know, you go, and I'm not just saying this because of them, but you look at Spurs, for example. And the one thing they've got now is a shiny new stadium. But first and foremost, they don't pay decent wages. They never have done. Most of their players want out because they're not on decent wages. And there's no history behind Tottenham. There's no sense of a player going to go to Tottenham and win a trophy. What gives you any idea that makes you think, you know what, I'm going to go to this club and there's prestige, there's a history of winning trophies. Players can look at us and go, you know what, Arsenal have been crap the last few years, but they're still winning cups. They're still doing things. Do you know what I mean? And yes, it might be the FA Cup, but this, if we do win it, it is still our 4th FA Cup in like 6 seasons. And we've been dreadful. There's some teams out there that have never won a trophy in their life. And they wonder why the hell we're moaning. You know, we're in our 3rd final for the 3rd consecutive season now. Yeah. 3rd final. And we've been poor. I don't know how we do it. So, yeah, God help everyone when we actually start spending some money and become good again. I'm going to be unbearable on social media when we're good.
You're unbearable for a lot of people at the moment.
I absolutely love it. I think it's hilarious. It's just, I see it over the weekend. I see all the memes with pictures of me and I thought, oh no, here we go again. come back to bite me in the backside. And that's why I posted a picture up today where I was literally mocking my own meme with the image of myself. And it was the moment I see that the league table was there, and I was like, hold on, AFC Bournemouth have been relegated, which means we're now top of the league. Sorry. Last season now, that was last season. I don't care if it was yesterday, it was last season. It's all about the future. This season, Arsenal are top of the league. And for the next 6 weeks at least, we're top of the league. So I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
Well, looking ahead to this season, what are you seeing, the ambitions of Arsenal? What are the realistic ambitions? Is it to get back into the Champions League?
Yeah. 100%. There ain't no ifs, buts or maybes. It's straight down the middle. Get back in the Champions League. It's been 4 seasons now. It's been too long. It's a lot harder than it used to be. When we was always getting top 4 under Wenger, there was predominantly only 4 teams competing to get in the Champions League. You had the odd surprise every year, maybe, and it kind of went down to the wire. But there wasn't the pool of teams that you're seeing now. There wasn't the likes of Wolves and a Sheffield United and a Leicester and those kind of teams that were throwing themselves into the mix. And yeah, it is a lot harder. But Arsenal, we can't not be in the Champions League. And it's part of the rebuilding process. Liverpool went through the same thing. Jurgen Klopp, when he first took over, he finished 8th in his first, season when he took over at Liverpool. He had a load of average players that he had to get rid of. He got rid of them. He was smart in the transfers. When he brought in Andy Robertson, for example, from Hull City, that didn't set the world alight. Nobody was saying, oh my God, look at that signing Liverpool just made. Yep, brilliant. They're going to be title contenders in a few years. Nobody thought that. Even when they bought Mo Salah, the first thing everyone thought was, he flopped at Chelsea. What makes you think he's going to do anything now? It's the first thing. When you bought Sadio Mane, the first thing that everyone thought, oh, it's just another Southampton player. What's he going to do? And they were smart. And then they sold Coutinho and they used that money and they bought Alisson, Van Dijk, and that completely transformed them. So, yeah, you need to buy players and you need a bit of luck as well. But that's kind of the role model that we need to emulate. Get back into the Champions League first and foremost, and then you can start opening other doors. And then you can start, knocking on certain players' doors with that carrot to dangle to say, yeah, look, we're in the Champions League now. And then once you start to bring in that caliber of players, you can then start pushing even higher and then start challenging for titles. It's taken Liverpool 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. We're not going to challenge for the title next season. The aim and the sole aim is Champions League football. End of. That's it. Minimum.
DT, we spoke about sort of targets for the transfer window last time we spoke out. But this time I want to talk to you about 2 players that spring to mind that are not getting games, that there's a question mark over. Guendouzi being one of them. He played against Brighton. I don't think we've seen him back since then. And Mesut Ozil. Big wage. He's not in Arteta's plans at all. What's going on with them two? What's the latest with them two?
Bye-bye. See you later.
Why?
Don't shut the door.
What happened with Guendouzi?
Well, from what, we're hearing in the, from the media and whatnot, is that he obviously had that incident at Brighton.
Yeah.
I don't think his comments went down too well with certain people at the club about how much he earns a week and everything. We had a history at Arsenal of players that had arrogance about them, like a Thierry Henry, for example. He earned the right to be arrogant. Guendouzi has not earned any right to be arrogant. You're a kid. Why are you, it just doesn't fit the mould of Arsenal. And I think that really annoyed Mikel Arteta. And, he took him out of the side as punishment. And it's not the first time. He's already had a dispute with him when they were in Dubai. And they had a problem and he dropped him for the game, when we came back from Dubai, which is against Newcastle. So he's had 1 reprimand already. This is his second. And then from what we're hearing is that, they kind of had clear the air talks. And Guendouzi's just completely refused to back down from his stance, won't apologise. So Arsenal said, all right, cool. Go train by yourself and we'll find suitors and get you out of the club. Bye-bye. See you later.
Then, what about Mesut Ozil then? We know that he's on a big wage, but how do you get rid of him?
Dear God. How do you get rid of someone on 350 grand a week?
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, there's nobody stupid enough, I'm going to say, to pay 350 grand a week for Mesut Ozil now. No. He's not going to just say, yeah, you know what, I'll take a wage cut. It's cool. I'll just drop down 100, 200 grand a week, whatever it, might be. He's also, because he's been frozen out, he seems like one of these players that would dig his heels in and go, yeah, you know what, I'm going to stay just to annoy all of you. Because I know you want rid of me, but I'm not going nowhere because I know it's going to cost you.
Like Gareth.
So, yeah, Gareth Bale, prime example. His is, him, God, he's more out there in terms of, he's making it very known. He's hilarious. He's falling asleep on the bench in the middle of games. And
if his agent keeps saying, oh no, he's happy, he's fine. You're like, no, he's obviously not.
Yeah, well, the thing is with Mesut is that I would rather Arsenal bite the bullet and pay off his year of his contract. I'd rather them write it off and say, right, let's come to an agreement, write it off, pay you, get rid of you. Because I feel that it's not so much paying him the wages every week that's the problem right now. It's having him around the club.
Okay.
It's having him in and around the dressing room. And it's not helping anybody. Mikel's obviously seen what he wants, decided what he wants, and now he needs to get rid of what he don't want. And I feel that once we start clearing out, then we can start to progress and move forward. And those are the two main ones. Guendouzi, he's got a bigger ceiling in terms of what we can bargain with. And the rumours are talking about Coutinho and possibly 30, 40 million pounds. I'll take the hand off, to be quite honest with you. Get him out of the door. But with Mesut Ozil, it's such a difficult one because he's only got a year left. And nobody, not even anyone in China would pay 350 grand a week, and they pay ridiculous wages. And I think that, given Mesut's recent issues with, certain things going on in China, means that he wouldn't go there anyway.
Exactly.
So what do? I just think we should pay him off.
Well, I just want to ask what your thoughts were on the fight for the third and fourth spots. Obviously, Leicester have missed out. What were you? It was right up to the final. Really, it was.
Last time you were on, you didn't want United to get through.
Yes.
And now
unfortunately, they did.
So depressing. It's like they just don't shut up. They don't ever stop going on about it. They're sitting there and celebrating what they used to mock Arsenal about, first and foremost. Congratulations to them. You're in the Champions League. You're not going to do anything, first and foremost. As soon as you come up against one of the big boys, they're going to just get out of the way. But I just don't... it's been such a poor season below the top two. And even Manchester City, by their standards, have had a poor season, to be fair. But I just don't get the hype around everyone talking about, the finishing third and fourth. Yes, you've got Champions League football. Well done. Congratulations. I sincerely mean that. But why are you celebrating it like it's a big achievement? And the reason why I say that is because these are the same people that used to criticise Arsenal for doing it. Season after season after season after season. 21 years in a row, in fact. My objective, I can banter clubs as much as I want and we'll have a laugh and a joke, and as long as you keep it within reason, there's always some idiots that want to cross the line. But I would be more looking at what's above you. If I was a Manchester United fan, I'd be more concerned at how far ahead their two biggest rivals are than how far ahead of Arsenal you are. Because it's not us that's the benchmark. You shouldn't be looking at us and thinking it's a great achievement to have finished above us. We've been crap this season. We know it. Yeah, you finished above us. What do you want, a medal? It's not been hard. We've had 3 managers. We've been a complete shambles. It's our worst Premier League season in 25 years. Well done. Great achievement. Ooh. Look in front of you. Your 2 biggest rivals, Liverpool, Manchester City. They're what, 25, 30 odd points ahead of them? That's the bigger picture. That's embarrassing. And before people say it, I know how far we're behind them. I'm not stupid. I don't believe the league table cuts off at a certain point. I can see that far up. I need a ladder to look up there, but I can see it. And objectively, that's where we need to get to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, have your fun. Have your fun. Honest to God, I can't wait. I'm just waiting for the day that we're back up there. I don't care how long I have to wait. I don't care if Twitter ain't even being used that much anymore. I'm still going on to use it and absolutely go for everybody once we do it. Because it's so annoying, because when Arsenal were good, there weren't social media.
Yeah, I know.
And then they brought social media out when we were crap. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, please, could you imagine if we were around in the Invincibles? Oh, my God. I would have destroyed everybody. Absolutely no chance. But listen, it is what it is. And it's fun and games at the end of the day. I've got a lot of mates that are Manchester United fans. I just don't get how some of them can genuinely gloat to an extent that they feel that they've achieved something this season. Win the Europa League and add a trophy to finishing in the top 4, then you've had a good season. If you don't, then all you've done is achieve what Arsene Wenger did every single year and you used to mock him about.
True. It's like Roy Keane. I mean, he's brutal with everyone, but he was just ashamed when he saw the Villa players celebrating not getting relegated. He was just shaking his head like not something to be celebrating.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I would love me and Roy Keane to be in a room together and just go through certain things that happen within football and ask me and him to react. We would just get on like a house on fire. We are so identical. We say it how it is. There's no filter. It's just, Roy's come from an era where he wins trophies. And even then he didn't look like he celebrated.
Yeah, true.
And so when he sees things like, well, hold on a minute. Yeah, okay. You've survived in the Premier League. Okay, great. Do you have to celebrate like that? Maybe do it in private, not publicly, because, you look at Aston Villa, I don't know what their stats are this season. How many games have Aston Villa lost this season? Well into double figures. Yeah, and you're looking at it and you're saying, it's not real achievement. There were just 3 teams that were even worse than you. And let's be honest, Aston Villa are only still in the Premier League because goal line technology never worked.
Yeah.
Against Sheffield United. So maybe have them celebrations in private and, show a bit of happiness. And, it is an achievement for their first time back into the Premier League to, get survival and everything. But there should be limitations. The only thing I was waiting for was for John Terry to come running out in a full kit and start celebrating as well. That would have just topped it all off, wouldn't it? Shin pads and everything. But yeah, I agree with Roy Keane. Unless you're winning a big trophy, you shouldn't be celebrating. You shouldn't be. That's just my objective to it as well. I'm one of these that comes from a background of, it's not about just taking part. I hate that saying, oh, it's the taking part that counts. Oh, you did really well. No, you didn't. You didn't do well. You didn't win anything. You should be in it to win it. It's not about taking part. And I think as a player, what do you want to look back on in your career? When you're old and you've got children and grandchildren, you want to be able to sit there and say, it's my Premier League medal, my FA Cup medal, my Champions League medal, my whatever it might be. Not, oh, look at this. I've done a few step overs and was on, the, what's it called? Soccer AM skills showboat for the week. Yeah, look at me. Woo, that's my achievement. Great. You want trophies. You want trophies. That's just my objective anyway.
Of course. GT, thank you so much. once again.
Pleasure.
Hopefully, last time you came on, you were going through a bad patch. You talked to us. You won 2 big games. So hopefully, by us, you're in their FA Cup final.
Exactly. That's why I agreed to come on, because I
Very good luck charms.
I said to you, didn't I? I said that straight after we had them 2 games, we was brilliant, and I was like, right, get me on before the final. And I said, because if we win, then it's the good luck charm. If we lose, then both of you are going to expect some messages from me, because it hasn't worked, but it's fun.
We'll do our best.
It's a pleasure talking to you once again.
Pleasure.
And we'll definitely talk in the future as long as you guys win. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hey, listen, as long as we win, then I've got no problem with coming back in the next couple of weeks and talking about it. But if we lose, then try and get hold of me about September time.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a wait.
Cool.
Thank you so much, DT.
Pleasure.
Speak to you again soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That was DT. It was great to have him back on the show. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2. We have a great guest, former Leeds and England international, Danny Mills.